Okay. So I'm sure we've all heard them say that the tongue is powerful, right? That the words you speak can somehow shape your destiny. And I can't lie, when I look at this situation with Jacksonville rapper Wham SpinthaBin, I can't help but feel like he spoke his own untimely demise into existence.
Hallandale Beach police still on the scene Friday morning, searching for clues, going door to door, trying to solve a murder. Bullets flying Thursday night, and this guy says bullets hit his house.
So last night, anoche, you're here, right? Bullet holes. You live here. Boom, boom, boom.
He says, I took off and I hid in the bathroom because I heard way too many shots fired. It all happened on the 500 block of Northwest 6th Avenue. 25-year-old Brandon Wamley was transported to a nearby hospital. He passed away.
A lot of bullets. Mucho.
Witnesses say the victim is a rapper known as Wam SpinthaBin. We also checked, and it appears he does have a criminal history in Broward County with charges of cannabis possession, stalking, writing a threat to kill. Hallandale Beach police say this was an isolated incident and that the victim and suspect were acquainted, but they also say the case remains very active and the investigation continues.
Let's have this discussion. Police in Hallandale Beach got a call from their ShotSpotter system. That's the technology that picks up gunfire and lets cops know exactly where it happened. They pull up to the 500 block of Northwest 6th Avenue and find Wham laid out, hit with gunshots. He was rushed to the hospital, but he didn't make it. Welcome back to Mindset Devil. Now, according to investigators, this wasn't some random drive-by or robbery. Their early findings say Wham knew the shooter. This was a confrontation that ended up going left, and things quickly took a violent turn. Think about that for a second. Dude had just started making a name for himself. He had signed with Kodak Black's Sniper Gang early on and was gaining traction with tracks like Spin a Benz Part 1, Righteous Reapers, and a song ironically titled Get Him. He even dropped albums like Life Before Fame in 2021 and Before I Self-Destruct back in 2022. Even after leaving Sniper Gang in 2023, him and Kodak were still cool, still working on music. And in interviews, Wham always talked about how much Kodak inspired him to take rap seriously. As a matter of fact, he was introduced to Kodak through his cousin, the late wizdawizard. And if you know Florida rap, you know Wiz. Now when Wiz was killed in 2021, Wham admitted that it broke him. He even said he stopped rapping for a while because he didn't know how to deal with the pain.
Because Wiz having passed away, had an effect on you.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be real. Like, I don't know, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of different people handle death differently, but I ain't gonna lie, losing Wiz hurt me a lot, like, you feel me? I ain't gonna lie, I had lost myself at first, you feel me? Like, I ain't even gonna rap no more. But like I said, like, my brothers, like, you feel me? Them boys, you know, my mama, my daddy, my support system, they kept my mind right, you feel me? But then, like, I had to realize, like, you feel me? Instead of giving up, I gotta compete in this, you feel me?
Right.
Cause if it was vice versa, if I was going, I know Wiz would've kept it going, you feel me? So you feel me, like, I compete in this.
That's real long live Wiz having, man.
For sure, I appreciate it.
And honestly, you could feel that in his music later on. Songs like Praying for Killing, No Attempts, Yoda Twins, and especially his last album, Teardrops and Closed Caskets. Now, just think about that title for a minute. Teardrops and Closed Caskets. Tell me that don't sound like some sort of premonition, like he literally manifested the same energy he was rapping about, and eventually it consumed him. You see, that's the thing people don't realize. Words are spells. You keep chanting death, violence, and evil, that's exactly the type of energy you open the door to. Same way, if you talk positivity and live accordingly, that energy comes back to you also. The Notorious B.I.G told us this with his only 2 albums and the titles he chose to give them, Ready to Die, and the one he released right before he was killed, which was even called Life After Death. And on that album's cover, there was an image of Big dressed like either a funeral director or the man in the coffin. Not to mention the airy fact that Big was posed next to a hearse with a coffin in the back of it, and we all saw how that ended. Now let's go a little deeper with this. The last song that Tupac released shortly after he was killed was the song I Ain't Mad at You. Somebody please tell me if I'm wrong, but when you read the song's lyrics, what I found to be kind of odd was there was nowhere in the song's lyrics that would coincide with the video Tupac created for it. Why did the video depict Tupac hanging out with a friend after enjoying a night out end with someone shooting him and him succumbing to his wounds? Next thing you know, Pac's hanging out in heaven with a bunch of old black celebrities that are all dead. Now, I recently watched a video on the YouTube channel called The Art of Dialogue, where they interviewed the co-star of that particular video, Bokeem Woodbine. And during that interview, Bokeem was asked about how he felt about the whole video and if he ever thought if Tupac may have foreshadowed his own death. Bokeem went on to say that after that video was created, he thought it was rather strange the way it took so long for that video to be released after he and Tupac finished it. He mentioned how normally a rap video is released rather fast after it is created, but for some reason the video he did with Pac took so long to be released, he just figured the label, or Tupac himself, decided not to release it.
You know, what really kind of blew my mind is normally if you shoot a music video, it's out within maybe 3 months, right? Something like that. Yeah, maybe 3-4 months, whatever. So we shot it, and then I'm just like waiting for it to come out, waiting for it to come out, waiting for it to come out. And so ultimately I was like, oh, okay, there must have been something wrong with it. The edit, they probably looked at it and said, this is garbage. We're not putting it out. And so that was that. I let it go. And cause it went way past the time that it takes for a music video to come out. Don't take that long. And then, you know, after he passed, boom, they put it out. And I was like, this is wow. This is wow. This is wow. It hit different.
But when Tupac was killed, suddenly the video was released. Is that crazy or expected? You tell me. I got one more for you before we wrap this cautionary tale up. XXXTentacion. X just happened to be another young Florida rapper that created a lot of dark, depressing music. He too was sent to the shadow realm by a couple of demons that had absolutely nothing going for them.
Part of that crime, without your actions, it would not have happened. Additionally, I don't look at the way someone behaves in court. Courts, for sentencing purposes, courts are stressful things. People react to stuff differently. But there are things that I can look at. And I can tell you this court is shocked by your behavior after the murder. A person who had any measure of human decency or remorse for killing someone would not likely be seen dancing around and filming themselves with the stolen money. How proud you were of yourself. You should understand that while you were dancing on that bed, throwing down those bills, you weren't throwing money down on the floor. You should think of that as you tossing down days, weeks, and months of your life, just like that.
X already had a cult-like following from his unique yet dark style of music. But like Tupac and Big, X became larger than life only after he was murdered.
An up-and-coming rapper is shot dead. 20-year-old XXXTentacion killed in an apparent robbery. Police say the artist, whose real name is Jose Onfroy, was leaving a Broward County motorcycle shop yesterday when he was shot by two men who ran up to his car. He was rushed to a hospital but did not make it. Onfroy's death comes just weeks after he earned his first #1 album, which debuted March 31st.
And he also scored his biggest hit with the song perfectly titled Sad. And he even created that video right before he crossed paths with the Devil's Rejects. And in that video, just like Tupac's video, X is dead, and we see him in the afterlife also. So again, I ask you, is that crazy or expected? You tell me. You know something? I happen to notice a really strange pattern. That for some bizarre reason, when a rapper gets shot, well, unless your name is Megan Thee Stallion, that is, it's usually not in the foot. Most never make it. Now look, I don't know if Wham was really trying to change his life for the better or not. Yes, he had some charges. Weed possession, stalking, even making a threat to kill somebody. But I didn't find much about him with weapons cases or domestic violence stuff. So I can't just lump him in with the worst of the worst. What I do know is this: the streets are always jealous. Once you link up with the streets, you basically marry them. And if you try to walk away without making it official that you're done, the streets will say, "If I can't have you, nobody will." That's the mentality. So whether this was an old beef catching up to him or just a heated moment gone wrong, the sad part is, it didn't have to end like this. Every conflict shouldn't have to end with a body. But in our community, conflict resolution is almost non-existent, and it goes deeper than just rap. When 60% of black mothers are raising kids without fathers, what do we expect? Those kids grow up without guidance, without structure, without balance. The streets step in to raise them, and then it's the blind leading the blind. You grow up seeing hustlers and shooters living the so-called dream. That's what you chase. Breaking that cycle takes a different kind of discipline. Sticking by your family, working harder than everybody else, actually sticking to your plans until they manifest. But when I look at Wham's mugshot, I'll be honest, I didn't see a man trying to go work at Microsoft or run a hedge fund with Warren Buffett. I saw a dude smiling like a psychopath, with the tattoos all over his face, the Wicks hairstyle that makes him look like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons, and that sinister grin, like if he's not walking straight into a cage right after they snap that photo. A cage run by people who don't look like him, don't care about him, and already see him as an animal. And that's the reality when you willingly throw your freedom away. Because let's be honest, society loves to see you either dead or locked up. That's the truth. And if you keep playing in the streets, instead of building something positive, that's exactly where you end up. Either somebody's gonna push your wig back, or the prison system is gonna put a barcode on your back and make a business out of your life. The choice is yours. So let Wham's situation be a lesson. Because if you don't learn from it, like old man John used to say, a hard head makes a soft behind. And now, I want to know your unfiltered and honest opinion about this. Do rappers really manifest their deaths through their words and music? Or is it just the reality of the streets catching up every time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a mature conversation about this. And by the way, if you care about protecting the hip-hop culture, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join our power structure. And I'll catch you in the next one.